the East Coast, condos in Queens, indo for weeks. Sold out seats to hear Biggie Small speak. Living life without fear, putting 5 carats in my baby girl ear. Lunches, brunches, interviews by the pool. Considered a fool, cause I dropped out of high school. Stereotypes of a black male misunderstood. And it's still all good.
And if you don't know, now you know. March 9th. And you know, huge day in New York's history. If you're from New York or, you know anything about anything of the Mecca that it is, you would know today is a, sad but monumental day all in one. The passing of B.I.G., Notorious B.I.G., which seemed, 17 years ago, seems like it was yesterday. It just goes to show how old we are. But, sad day in New York's history, but also a momentous one, as I said. And Notorious B.I.G., a huge representation of New York City and one of the best representations of New York City on a rap forefront. And I would love to sit here today and say the Knicks are one of the best representation on the sport forefront, but I can't tell you that. I'll be lying. So we know where the Knicks stand. We know what the Knicks are doing this season, and needless to say, it's been an abysmal one, right? But huge game against the T-Wolves, and of course I have guys, our friends, is it a huge game? Listen, every game here on out serves to have playoff potential, right? Knicks need every possible game. So I'd rather watch these games, to be honest with you guys, than the games previous to these that led up to this, right? Because now I get to gauge. I get to see what Carmelo heart is about. I've been, positive with Melo all year. Guys are ripping me about Melo, this, that, and the third. Let me tell you something. Melo's great. To me, third best player in the NBA. It may sound heinous or something. That's fine. Let it sound heinous. Back to the New York Knicks. Now, the Knicks played well. Let me just tell you guys, it was the first time in 2 seasons. Yes, 2 seasons that 5 players that start in a New York Knicks uniform actually had double-digit numbers when it comes to points. 2 seasons. So that means all of last season and every game up until tonight against Utah, that all 5 players in the starting lineup had double-digit points. So obviously Carmelo Anthony had some help, and it showed because it's the first game all season this season that the Knicks have gone without giving up a lead. They've actually led the beginning of the game, and obviously they led by the end of the game because they came out victorious with the win. And tonight, Friday, March 9th, we have Utah Jazz coming in. The Knicks are hosting the Utah Jazz, who are pretty pathetic in their own right, albeit in a tougher Western Conference where competition is more gritty, and we all know the better teams are in the West at this point. Oh, that aside, pretty horrendous in their own right. I mean, they're coming in 21-40. Puke. They're 7-24 on the road, so their road record obviously is terrible. And also, they're in a 6-game road trip. And tonight serves to be their 5th against the Knicks, and previously they just lost their last 4 on the road. I have no reason to believe the Knicks will relinquish a win tonight. I say they come out, they play tough. Backs against the wall, and they're going to show up to do what they have to do. Carmelo Anthony scoring the ball, 29 points per. He's giving you 8.3 rebounds, so we know what Melo is giving you. And it kind of hurts to say, saddens me to say, but it is the truth. The Knicks go as far as Raymond Felton takes them. Oh, almost threw up saying that, but it's the truth. When he plays well, the Knicks consequently play well. I mean, he is the starting point guard. You would want your starting point guard to play like Raymond Felton played against the T-Wolves. So if this could be mimicked, if the Knicks could somehow mimic what happened against the T-Wolves and keep the ball movement up and have guys chime in on the offensive end and get defensive stops when they need them, they should win tonight. A game that's very winnable against a very pathetic Utah Jazz team, right? We do know the other teams besides the Knicks that are outside looking in at that 8th spot that Atlanta currently has, Detroit and Cleveland. They're terrible in their own rights. Again, in an abysmal year for the Eastern Conference, you have Detroit and Cleveland also chasing down the Atlanta Hawks for the 8th spot. And these guys have lost 5 of their last 7. So, it tells you a little something about what the Knicks are up against. And I say all year long, and trust me, I'm not using I'm not using scheduling as an excuse for the Knicks' poor play. I mean, not at all. We know their record against sub 500 teams are sub itself. So, you know, they aren't playing good against just about anyone these days. But that being said, out of their next 10 opponents, only 2 of them are 500. They play some pretty abysmal teams in their own right. I mean, the Milwaukee Bucks, who are the worst team in the league, sees the Knicks twice. And now, you know, you go over and conversely, Atlanta, who's in the 8th spot, and they're slipping as well. You know, they've lost 6 straight themselves. So they're also on a decline very fast. And look at a team like Atlanta, and 7 of their next 10 opponents are over 500. So, you know, that gives you a little bit of light or some hope if you're the New York Knicks. Now, can the New York Knicks help themselves? That is yet to be seen. But tonight they have an opportunity to, and the Utah Jazz is a great starting point. What we do know, scoring is up. The ball moves when it seems Amari Stoudemire's in the lineup. I know it sounds really funny because it's stat and it isn't like he's this big game changer, but he has a big difference to the Knicks when he starts. The Knicks are coming out of the gates, guns firing. You know what I mean? And last 2 games they've led going into half, which, you know, they usually do, but it's been pretty firm lead. So, you know, we have something to look into with Amari in the starting lineup now. And J.R. Smith looks under control, coming off the screens, finding his spots, burying shots, and it's the first time all season that he's looked comfortable. And I don't know if I want to go out on a limb and say, well, maybe the Raymond Felton thing was a plus. You know, everyone's seen it as a negative, but it seems like it's band the team together. As initially I thought it may be the straw to break the camel's back, it seemed as if it served to be some type of glue. And hopefully the Knicks could keep the good play against a good Minnesota team going, right? News just in. Knicks seem like they want to acquire Phil Jackson, so they're making some ripples. Already making it known Mike Woodson's on his way out as they search for head coaches while he's still coaching, you know. So that can be a good thing. And if there is a negative, I would think it's that, as it just serves as another distraction. I don't think the Knicks needed this distraction at such a pivotal time in the season. Could they have held off? You know, maybe. But, you know, so that may be a negative. Guys are shopping, and Phil Jackson, I tell you right now, will never be the Knicks head coach. Well, at least he's 68 years old. I mean, really. He's not going to go to a franchise that needs to rebuild if he ever does coach again. I'm pretty sure the talent will be exactly where it is now. It's been reported that he's been offered a front desk position, which may be suitable for him, seeing how he won't have to travel in his advanced age as much as a head coach would. And Phil Jackson is going to obviously draw some star talent to New York, and you know, 2015 we'll wait and see. But as far as tonight goes, Knicks should get the nod, at least by 8 points, I'll say, in the Garden. I think Melo has a great game. I think Raymond continues his play. He plays well tonight, and I actually think J.R. Smith plays well tonight, and I believe these guys keep it going. So tune in tonight. Games around 7. You've been watching Ray Mitchell on the couch. That was some of my thoughts, man. Have a good one, guys.